Order and stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome to the April 16th regular commission meeting. Just to remind everyone that we are on Zoom call and to ask permission to speak. And then if we could keep down any talking in the audience, that'd be great. First of all, we'll have additions to the agenda. And I'll start with you, Denny.
Nothing.
Amy?
I don't know if you or anyone's gonna talk about the build session, but I just thought a little overview of the recent build session for housing in Minto on.
Thank you.
I can, yeah.
Okay.
Housing?
Yeah, housing update.
Christie?
Nothing.
Ernie?
Nothing.
Myself, I don't have anything, and so then, okay. Okay, and everyone has gotten the regular minutes from last meeting and have looked over the monthly bills, and that's been signed. Do we have any questions about the consent agenda? Anything to add? If not, do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So.
Danny and Christie? Yeah, it is here. Any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passed. Let's see, employee time. I don't think we have anybody for employee time. And we have a few more minutes. Amy, do you want to just update us on the build meeting, the housing meeting?
Yeah, well, Karen and I attended, there was one in Minto last Wednesday.
Yeah.
And they have been going around and doing sessions at multiple centers, Grand Forks, I think Nelson. It was really good. It was a, 4-hour event. Karen was there, Yana was there, so there was a good variety of representation. And one thing that struck me is they've been doing survey and they're hoping to have this report out by June. And then the plan is to kind of implement moving forward, but 56% of their surveys, which they've had a lot of input back, 56% have stated that they have family or friends that will move back to this area, but they cannot find housing. So it's starting to come back in objective terms, numbers, and to really show the need that we have. So I think it was a very worthwhile and good informative session, and they just will keep working.
Any questions? Then
What happened to that Epic deal? Why did that fall through? Anybody know?
Investors.
investors, yeah.
Couldn't get the investors to.
I think investors backed out. Didn't they, Amy?
I don't think they ever had
They
enough.
never had enough, yeah,
Yeah.
for the apartment housing here.
Mhm.
I can't remember where it was. I was
Yeah.
driving through and I saw one of those signs.
Yep,
It's working some places.
yep. And I don't know that it's out of the question ever, but they didn't get enough investors.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and then the city of Grafton was at that event on Wednesday, and they actually have an engineering firm that is doing a housing study just for the city of Grafton. This one is for the counties of Walsh. Yeah, it's a regional study. So there are things happening. We're just still in the phases of studies and looking at. And then Cavalier's getting an 8-plex. And where else are they putting Larimore? And that's kind of what's happening with homes being built, but one by one. The gal that was presenting said the developers, they want to build 500. And sorry, you think about that around here, we haven't had a house built. I mean, they happen one by one, so to really think of a developer. So then the idea is, okay, regionally then, if you were to build 500, to make it worth that, like Paul Hodak brought up some good points as the assessor. You live in a city of Grand Forks or Fargo and you've got this funding gap. Well, that's a lot closer than around here. That gap stays so wide. So he talked with, you know, bringing up the point of looking at property taxes from a perspective of just help us narrow the gap, like bridge the gap, take the risk out for developer, help with that. Risk assessment for the developers, maybe they can build 500, you know, regionally between the other counties. So they're looking at all angles for sure.
That's the big thing, these developers don't wanna come to these small areas unless they get a chunk.
Well, supply chain demand too, with a lot of the materials,
Yeah, that cost has gone sky high,
just look at our jail.
you know, so.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, we will move on and we will have Ron Jurgens, our sheriff, and Tanya Wheeler, our HR gal, come up and give us a jail.
Morning, everybody. Just a update on our last jail meeting, which we had last Thursday. We met with Al Vadas and we have another meeting scheduled for this Friday. At that meeting, we will have what we think will be the final drawings, the architect rendering of the inside and the outside of the building. We're getting real close to being able to give this out to the public. So we're making ground. It's a long process, and I know people are probably wondering where we're at. We're making good progress on it. So we're looking forward to being able to show what we've done to the public. So what the committee's asking for today is to okay us to hire Jennifer Gerndt to do our PR. The committee's opinion is that we would like to hire her and get her in place for a possible the election part that would land between the primary and the general election. But she would help with all of the.
She would help
All of
with
the
the
press
public relations
services.
campaign, essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
You might recall as a commission, when we first looked at the Samuels Group proposal, there were pieces of it, you know, and initially as a commission, you just chose to do the first piece of it, which was the study and the assessment. This is kind of the second phase. And at the time, it was understandable. We weren't ready to move forward, right, with this part of it. So this is kind of the second portion that was originally on that proposal. They have an excellent track record with this public relations piece of it. I think they've said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they've had almost a 100% success rate, right?
Yes.
So they're very, very good at knowing how to present this information to the public, helping everybody understand it, making the information extremely accessible. They have beautiful websites that they usually put together and that kind of thing. So we just feel like this would be the right way to go, and we owe it to the taxpayers to help them understand the big picture, you know, fully. So,
I make a motion to hire Jennifer.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, just hold on. Discussion.
Question,
Yes.
at what expense?
Yeah. She sent me a cost estimate from a county that they've just gotten done with, Page County. And it was billed at $24,769. She thinks that's comparable to what we would need here. Our thinking is right around 25,000 or under that.
Yes.
Okay, so that was my question. My next question was, I wasn't quite ready for the motion. My next question was, where are we going to take the funds from?
If not from the CARES fund, I would say it could come out of the jail budget.
Okay, so I think our CARES fund, wasn't that depleted?
that is what we have ARPA.
We have ARPA, but our
Yeah,
CARES fund is
money's up,
depleted.
yeah.
Okay,
I would suggest taking out our,
You've
Yeah.
got enough going on with the jail
You're gonna probably overspend your jail budget anyhow. And not picking on you, but I
that.
mean,
No, no,
just the
no,
way it's been.
no, that's what that ARPA fund.
Yep, yep.
We gotta use that.
Right, and I didn't expect it to come out of the jail fund, but I wanted to make sure we were clear before we do all this, that we know where the money's coming from.
Great. Amy?
I mean, the first few meetings we had with this, when she presented to us, we knew about this piece of it. And I mean, I think we are at a point where we need to get out in front of the public the right way, and she is the right way. So from a perspective of, yeah, we have to pay for it, well, we don't have a jail, we don't have a yes vote, we don't have a jail to build, it doesn't matter. So this is the next best step
It
to be
is.
able to actually move forward in educating, which I think is vital.
There's a lot of information to get out to the
Yeah.
public, and we wanna do it in the best way possible that would ensure a yes vote. I think they have a great track record, and it's a great company to work with, so.
Right, and I fully agree. I fully agree that we have to spend the money to do it. I just like to know what we're spending before we go.
I
I
understand
like
that.
to know, all of a sudden, what if it's 150,000 and we're like, wait, I remember those last estimates were only
Absolutely.
30,000.
Yeah.
I think we need to know what we are going to spend.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, so we're thinking ballpark 25,000.
If we remember back to that first estimate from the Samuels Group, it was between 24 and 28,000.
They gave us a ballpark estimate at that time,
Yeah,
and it was right in the same range. It was 20, I think they gave us a range of 20, it's under 25 to like 28 something, so
mhm.
right in that ballpark. And that was, of course, over a year ago, right? I think
Right.
we first received that.
And this
Right.
just
Yeah.
came, the 24,769 just came within the last month from Jennifer, so.
Perfect.
I would say that we couldn't even move forward without doing anything like this, and the sooner we get it started, the sooner, people will hear about it and be able for it to soak in. And with that, we will have also some numbers, right, Tanya? As far as taxpayer,
Yeah, so
how does
there's,
that all?
there's another meeting happening, a couple of us are meeting on Friday, Christy, with Ann Willett, who is the person that we've been working with through public financial management. She's kind of giving us some guidance as to how we could proceed to figure out the financial side of this, how are we gonna pay for it? So she has provided some, quite a bit of information already, just preliminary. But we're going to explore some additional information with her this coming Friday. So, there's a lot of pieces coming together here kind of quickly is our hope. That meeting is gonna happen right after the other meeting on Friday. So,
Okay, Karen,
Will she present us just give us kind of the proposal as far as the plan? So they do a website or they do a Facebook, so we have kind of a sense of what is her plan for our county? Because website is on the agenda today, so if there's kind of that piece of, what do they assume? Do they just mimic for every time, they do one of these proposals? Or is it something that's maybe more specific for our county that we would lean her, or she would, do something maybe a little bit more
They have-
appropriate for Walsh?
right, they have traditionally done a special website separate completely, that is just focusing on the jail project. So it's a
Yeah.
temporary site, and I don't know, maybe people keep them up too, because there's several on their website that we can look at to see what
They're still up.
they're still up.
Yeah.
But it's focused strictly on sharing as much information as possible.
like vote Walsh County Jail. or
Yeah, it's something like that, and I think there's pieces, that we could pick and choose if we wanted to, so yes, I think she
I
could take
think
her.
some of the things that she sent me, that she thinks that are important are the strategy and development and content messaging, website development and management, and Facebook page, direct mail creation, and community information meeting are some of the things that she mentioned as the things that she thinks are important, but I will narrow that down with her and.
Yeah, just so we're on the same page, is like this cost includes everything we envision,
Right.
because I think the first time they had something, then they presented to us. And you could put in your property
Yeah.
tax and it would literally tell you what your what you're, you know, what you would be paying or how it would impact you. And that's the stuff that I think people really like.
Right.
Sure.
Ernie?
Well, this, when they do the website, if it's separate, can they link it to ours?
Yes.
So I mean, people will go to the Walsh County and not find anything, then they can link it and go.
I'm pretty
Make
sure
sure
they
they can
would
do
be
that.
happy, yes.
Yeah. Once it's on Facebook, they'll put that link.
Yeah.
That's where most people will pass it around and share it.
But some people don't go to Facebook, they'll go to our
Right.
webpage, so they'll still have access.
Yeah.
I think both of those
Both
would
of
be,
them,
yeah.
yeah. And then, am I correct, she would help us come up with wording to put on a special election vote then?
I think she would have us with all that.
Yeah. So, any more questions? Hearing none, we'll take the vote on hiring Jennifer Gurmt to do the marketing and public relation campaign for the new jail. And I'll take a roll call. Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy? Yes. Myself, yes. Motion carried. Okay, anything more with that?
That's all I have.
Yeah, see.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Hope you guys don't mind if we're running a little early and
That's
you can
fine,
come on up.
totally fine.
Okay,
Before I take the hot seat, I'm just gonna introduce Sarah Duchek. She is our latest public health nurse here. Part of the funding that you guys approved extra $1 to do adult home visiting. So she started with us on April 1st and has hit the ground running, working on getting the program up and running. So I just wanted to introduce her before. my spiel.
and what are April or Sarah's duties?
She will be doing the adult home visiting
Oh,
program, a new
okay.
program that we are starting, so.
Okay. I think we should all go around and introduce ourselves. Do you know everybody here, Sarah?
I can see some names, but yeah, that's great.
We'll start with Darren.
Danny Scoring of Mounds.
Amy Suter, your neighbor.
Christie Cordell, the auditor.
Darren Anderson.
Ernie Bart, I'm on the health board with Alan, so.
Okay.
Christie Brittenell, I'm from Boardwell.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you. Good luck.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome to your new job, Sarah. Welcome. Okay, you can go ahead, Ellen.
So hopefully you received the quotes that were prepared. This kind of came out of a department head meeting, where we had some discussion about the need for a new website, possibly tied to jail promotion stuff. But also just the need for perhaps a little more robust website, a little better looking, and I'm just gonna say from an editor side, an easier to edit website. So that was, I think Ed could probably echo those statements, but that was kind of the push. So we reached out to a few different vendors. Revise is actually the one that the city of Grafton used, that company. And we didn't get a direct demo from them. We actually got one from Jenny Dushik at the city. She gave Ed and I a demo. And then we actually had demos from Civic Plus and then Odney. Now Odney used to be KBB, which is the one that did our current website. But he told me it was a pretty hands-off process, that he basically just made the frame of the website and then Angel populated everything that way. So I think what we're looking for is just to see what the commission would like to do going forward and perhaps get some kind of a budget for us to deal with. And then from that point, Ed and I talked about perhaps setting up demos for probably all the department heads together, and probably yourself too, Christie, since that's your portfolio. So that way we can make kind of an educated decision on what's an easy website to manage, gives us a lot of functionality, but can be easily edited, so.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
appreciate all your work on this. Alan just willingly took this job on. Alan and Ed have been both willing, just an additional duty they took on, so we appreciate it. I guess I'm looking for your guys' input, what you feel is the best website for editing, because I can look at your estimates, but I really don't know what's gonna be the easiest for you guys on your end. I can look at what it looks like and pick which one I like, but
Yeah,
Until you guys get in there and kind of get to see what's the best to edit and work with and easiest.
sure.
I guess that's what I'm looking for. If you have, and you maybe saw some with Jenny, as
Yes,
far as editing.
Ed and I, what we saw, and we kind of had to split, we saw a couple of demos together. I saw one by myself. I would say both with Odney and Revise, easily editable. I don't want to speak for everybody though, if it's gonna be all department heads editing, so that's, hence that reason. Civic Plus also would be really easy to edit. I just think it's probably quite a bit bigger than what we need. There was huge amounts of functionality in it, which I think is kind of reflected in the
price.
That's
Yeah,
there.
that one kind of threw me off.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, they've done some large stuff, and he did tell us that they could scale it back a little bit too, so there is that option there. But I don't know, I don't want to speak for you, Ed, but I feel like even the first one we saw with Jenny, I was like, wow, this is easy.
The revised one.
The Revise, yeah.
Madam Chair, so that's what the city has then, is
Yeah.
the revised?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a clean looking website too, high degree of editability with that, as well.
So is that what you are suggesting, that you guys would go through it and then come back to us with a recommendation?
Yeah, we could do that. If you wanted to authorize a certain level of budget, that would be good too, just, the one that we're looking at on Odney would be the 11.5 one. But realize with both of them, there are those ongoing costs. I think you saw it in the estimates there. Odney, it looks like, if I'm reading it correctly, $100 a month, Revised 2,000 a year.
I don't have them both pulled up at the same time, but can you give me the initial quote again for?
Yep, Revised is $8,300. Odney, I think it's 11,500. Yeah, 11.5.
I'm sure. Yes. Ed, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Alan's done a great job. I will point out, with the Revise, I just saw in there this morning that they do, we have the option of spreading our billing out over 5 years. And then they do a 5th-year website refresh for free. Which Revise, Civic Plus did as well. Was there any mention of that from Odney, Alan, do you recall?
None that I heard from Odney in that presentation.
I thought that was interesting,
Yeah.
a refresh of the website after 4 or 5 years. Real quick technology,
Yes.
and visually things change.
Madam Chairman.
Yes.
That's interesting, because I'm in year 4 of my business, and my marketing gal is like, we need a refresh of our website. So I think that is a huge plus. I'm also a big fan of something that's been done well and what we've seen well, instead of taking a gamble on a different company. Not that they probably would do great, but I'm not a reinvent the wheel girl. If something's really working well somewhere, let's.
Yeah.
Odney is the one that did the City of Park Rivers, I think. That's that one.
Okay.
Right, me too. So, and maybe they have a refresh site option too, I don't know, we can probably ask that.
And how much is there, like not monthly, they charge for the whole year?
Which one?
Kind of host, Odney, 2,000?
From what I see, if you go to the last page, it says hosting and support, $100 a month.
Yeah, 1,200 a year.
Okay, they are $100 a month. Oh,
Yeah.
Revised was 2,000 a year.
Okay, 2,000.
Revises are better deal.
And the intro, like just the plan, being able to pay and having that, I think, that refresh, I just think that's a really great.
They gave us the exact same price that they gave City of Crafton.
Okay.
Once they heard that we were tied in with them, like, we'll match the price for that, so.
Well, so are you sure you want to go into it? Do you want us to make a decision today?
Well, the only thing is, I would like to see since there's so many editors, I guess, I don't know how you feel, Ed, but I would love it for department heads to see them and be like, oh, this is better than that, just knowing what the struggles.
Well, but then remember, you're going to have 6 people saying 6 different things, so.
Correct.
I just want to make sure. I mean, I think it's a good idea if you did something like that, and then you could just come back to us at our next meeting. You should be able to decide by then, right?
Yeah. And they're really flexible. We would just do teams. So
Sure.
have everybody
Yep.
have their own computer so they
Yep.
can view everything. and
Great.
Can definitely do that.
Okay, yeah. And,
I know Civics Plus is gonna be reaching out to us, I'm sure later this week. And they're gonna want some feedback from us if their proposal is even feasible for the budget we're looking at. So I guess, I might, that one was considerably more. So if you can give us guidance on if we should even pursue that one even any further or not.
Chairman.
yes,
I guess I'm thinking if we can get a product that has been tried and true for a more reasonable price, why are we gonna go with somebody that's going to charge us a lot more that we haven't worked with unless there was really something that really stood out on it? But I guess this is gonna be new to our budget. We have to find where we're gonna come up with money for this. I'd prefer if we stayed within that, either the 8,300 or the 11,500. If it's gonna be significantly more, I guess my thought is this, I'm kind of ruling out, Odyssey because of the high, was it Odyssey? No.
Civics.
Civic, because of the high price tag. I mean, that's,
And like you said, if there's so much there that it's so large, we don't need that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about Civic likely has we just may not be their client as far as they likely do a great job for larger companies, but you a lot of times will lose things if they're focused on, they may not be focused on the same things you would have with a smaller that is used to, more of what we would probably need. So I would agree that, I don't know if we need to make a motion for you, but I would agree that I would focus on the Odney and the Revise.
yeah, I think we can just direct you guys
Okay, yeah.
to just focus
pursue
on
these
those
two
two.
vendors.
Yes,
Perfect.
those two vendors.
Can do.
Okay, any more questions or discussion for Alan?
So you'll just come back to us after talking to department heads and kind of giving us your recommendation from
Sure.
I think the
Yeah.
budget side, it sounds so much more palatable too, so that might be something to clarify with Odney on the refresh for that 5th year as well as the drawn out of payments. I mean, versus one chunk, if we're able to spread it, that would be a lot more palatable.
Okay. Yeah, will do.
Great work, thank you, Alan and Ed.
We'll just have Christie look to see, or if there's money left in ARPA, we can. look
well, we
there.
have all kinds of money in
Yeah.
ARPA, but we also, yeah.
I forgot one thing. I do have some leftover grant dollars in the realm of health equity and all this, which has to do with access for everybody to health information and everything. And I got authorization to use some of those dollars to help with the website redesign.
Oh, boy.
So
Geez, that was,
at least I would say a quarter of the cost.
Okay,
if not more. So,
And we can do some out of general fund too.
Yes.
Instead of hitting that,
Yeah.
we haven't hit that for a while.
It's a need,
Yeah.
so, yes.
okay, well, if you can come back with us next meeting, the sooner the better.
okay.
Okay,
Sounds
thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are a little bit ahead. Let's take a 5 to 10 minute break.
We've been banging.
Kids. Okay, we'll move on to our state's attorney Kelly Cole, and I asked her about a month ago to give us an update of her office, being she's my portfolio.
Good morning.
Kelly.
Just starting out, I guess, talking a little bit about, over the last year, I guess, we had about 4 Supreme Court, cases that went on appeal to the Supreme Court in the last year. And that's kind of unusual. Those cases require a lot of intense writing a brief and researching and then going usually for oral argument and preparing for that before the Supreme Court. So there's that. Right now, so far this year, we're at about 100 criminal cases. That's pretty typical, might be a little bit more than usual, but yeah, so that's where we're at. And that's cases that have been filed in this year. So we still have some pending still from last year out there and that sort of thing. So we also have juvenile delinquency cases. Does everybody know what juvenile delinquency cases are? Or should I kind of let you know? Okay, so juvenile delinquency cases are cases that would be crimes if they were committed by an adult, but they're committed by a juvenile. And so last year we had 22 juvenile cases total. And so far this year, we have 16. So they're up a lot.
How many last year did you say?
22 total. And this year, so far, we have 16. So we're seeing a really huge increase in that. Let's see, what else? We have victim services are also up. We serviced 35 victims from October to December of 2023 and 28 from January to March of 2024. So that's up. Those numbers are up from previous years. Christine has to track all those because she has to do quarterly reports with regard to victim services. I think also civil questions and opinions that are being asked from our office, either coming from department heads or you, the commissioners, are also up in the last couple of years. I've seen an increase in lots of questions there. I attended a meeting at the North Dakota State Hospital about a month or so ago with some other state's attorneys. I met with Dr. Yabbitt just about issues that the state's attorneys are having with the state hospital and getting evaluations done, getting commitments done and those sorts of things. And that was a really good meeting, I thought. Dr. Yabbitt really seems to care about treating individuals, sees what the issues are. And so we're kind of hoping to all be on the same page so that we can go to the legislature together to present what the needs are, because as we all know, chemical dependency and mental health are huge, huge, huge issues, both in the criminal aspects of things, when it comes to families and children, when it comes to just everything. So that was a really good meeting, and we also got a tour of the state hospital too, and I never received that before, so it's really good. I attended the state's attorney's conference in January, but we have 2 a year, so that was, and then we had training on various topics and all sorts of things. And one of the issues was the shortage of attorneys in general, and especially assistant state's attorneys. You're seeing that across the state, and you're seeing a lot of openings and counties that are unable to fill those openings because there just isn't enough attorneys out there or attorneys interested in filling those positions. So that is a huge issue. And then on the Supreme Court website, I see openings all the time. They're posted, whereas before, probably even 5-6 years ago, you didn't see that, like you do now. So what else? Any questions for me?
Penny?
Well, Kelly, after being on the commission for 6 years and seeing all that you deal with, the judges and your team, I gotta say thank you for the job you do,
Oh,
because it's just, it's overwhelming. I mean, you look at everything that's going on in the county and the drugs and everything that's related to it. It all comes down onto your plate and you guys deal with it. You do a good job. Thank you.
thank you, Danny. Appreciate that.
I think we all have those same sentiments.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
I got a question.
Yes.
Do you, and I know it's not in your hands, but do you have sometimes a concern, because we were talking about earlier today, when Grand Forks, when they had 63 prisoners, and every one of them in there this week are repeat offenders.
Yeah.
That sort of concerns me, and I was just wondering what you think about it, or your office and stuff, because I said it is repeat offenders. We gotta somehow change their attitude or their life, or.
A lot of it is repeat offenders, and again, it kind of comes down to those chemical dependency, mental health issues. We're seeing those a lot. You know, we have problems with the DOCR and the sentences we received. There's no truth in sentencing anymore. So if somebody gets sent to the North Dakota Department of Corrections on a 2-year sentence, they could be out in 17 days. That's my record. So, you just don't know, and usually out released to some sort of halfway house or treatment facility of some sort. But so unless you have like a mandatory minimum where they're required to spend a certain amount of time, you can sentence them and you're just not sure how long they're gonna stay, which is hard when you're negotiating plea agreements, right, with defense attorneys, because you know, you could sentence them to 2 years, but in reality, they're probably gonna be out within 60 days. I mean, but it's just hard to know. Defense attorneys don't know what to tell their clients and sort of thing.
Amy?
And you made a comment, Ernie, about, you know, to change their lives, and at the end of the day, right, like, we can only do so much, but I think that speaks to the program that we have done in Walsh County with trying to help them understand the mental health and chemical dependency, so you're getting to the root issues for these people, and then you can only do so much. Like, they have to be willing, but it's been very encouraging to hear from a county perspective from Ron and Alan and, you know, and Joelle on what they get back for interest. So not everyone, but if you could get a good majority that are willing to reform and just get some of that education and, you know, personal growth to be able to recognize what's going on in their lives, that's the best first step to help.
Changing society.
I know we are very thankful for that program because, you know, they can get evaluated, they can start treatment. A lot of times that will sway what I consider in a plea agreement, and then we're not sentencing someone to the Department of Corrections because they've already begun the treatment. They're showing that they want to change, and so then I think myself and the judge is both more willing to give them a chance out in the community to see if they can continue to make those changes and remain non-violent. So,
Christie?
Can I ask, why does the Department of Corrections let them off so quickly?
well, right now we're at capacity.
So there's no room at the end.
There's no room at the end, and nobody wants to build more bed space. So both women and men's prisons are, for the most part, we get updates every week and they're usually at about capacity or over. I know right now they're housing men in a lot of the jails, the bigger jails and that sort of thing, so.
So sadly, they're facing, the state is facing the same problem that our county is facing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Ron?
And because the state is refusing to build more penitentiary space, they are putting their inmates out in the county jails, which makes it harder for the county to utilize the space that they need. So if the jails or the counties that don't have jails need space, they're being taken by the DOCR. So it all comes back to, there's not enough bed space in the state of North Dakota to hold our inmates. And so they're letting them out at a more rapid pace. Most of the inmates are, the serious time that they're gonna serve are gonna be in county jails, not in the penitentiary. And that's not how the system was intended to be. So somehow this switch to the county's taking the load, has to be reversed, in my opinion.
So when you're with them, Ron, can't you tell them guys being you're shoving them back to us, can't you help fund our prisons then instead of you're shoving it there, but we're supposed to do something?
I wish that was I agree with you, Ernie. I think, the money that they're making off the state, if people would say that's enough, we're not gonna do that, but in reality, that's not gonna happen. It is jails are an expensive thing to have, and I absolutely understand that. But if we don't have jails, we don't have criminal justice.
What scares me is when Amy, you were talking about our advocacy program and stuff, that's coming up. Where are we gonna find that money again?
I agree. Yeah.
You know, we took it out of ARPA and stuff, and that's a great program, but somehow we gotta, to me, we gotta keep that going if we can. But it's gonna be tough.
Right.
It was a lot of money
250, wasn't it?
a year.
That was a huge, to your point, Christie, that was a huge investment.
Yeah.
In trying to make our community better, and I think it is proven that there are results because of that. Funding it, I agree with you, is a whole different story.
Yeah.
So.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
I think to the pieces of knowing what Ron and Kelly both shared as far as who's out in our communities without us knowing from a level, like you say, if there's a high risk offender or a violent offender and they're serving a bulk of their time in county, I mean, that's like going to recess, right, versus spending harder time. So that should be a concern for citizens, especially when we're talking about building a new jail and that we need the space to be able to house, if that's gonna be the case, to keep them. But to know that that's the result is ankle bracelets and that they're kind of just being released because there's no other choice, that shouldn't be a solution. And I think the program and looking to fund it, it's before me, so the commissioners, I give you guys all credit in terms of just having a vision of what this can do. It's not gonna happen over just a few years. It's gonna have to maintain a commitment, so I hope we can keep it going in some form.
Catch and release isn't the answer.
Fishing it is.
I mean, I've talked to enforcement deputies and they're frustrated with it. That's the same people over and over, and you see the same thing. There's no penalty, so why not?
Oh, can you imagine as a state's attorney, 2 years, 17 days?
Yeah.
That has to be very frustrating.
Well, and the worst part about it was that it was on a petition to revoke too, so he had was already out on probation and then committed a new crime, and so he was sentenced back on bail. And I think it was actually a 2.5 year sentence and it was
In 17 days.
17 days. Yeah.
I can't imagine doing your job and then seeing those results.
Yeah.
It's gotta be frustrating.
Yeah,
Where is the deterrent in that?
Yeah,
exactly.
both these, I just,
Well, and they don't even spend enough time to have any treatment in jail to make a difference either, so.
Yeah.
Any more questions for Kelly? Here. Combined office resolution?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll have Tanya come up and, we'll talk about the combined office resolution for the auditor
Yeah.
treasurer.
Holding on. No, that's okay. So I am fine with, obviously, I'm the one who brought this forward last time, but resolutions are in Kelly's wheelhouse. So this is, I'll kind of join the conversation.
Did you all receive that in your packet? Okay,
Yep.
great, awesome.
Yes, so as you all know, of course, last time we talked about the combined position. We worked extensively with Christie, in that time period to ensure that this is the right way that we want to move forward. There's no denying, there's a lot going on right now in the auditor's office, right? This is, a crazy busy time, and so timing, unfortunately, is really not gonna be on our side, no matter how we look at it, I think is the truth. Election stuff is ramping up, but I'm hopeful that Christie feels confident in moving forward with this after spending some time pondering it. So we do have a combined resolution. I asked Kelly, of course, to help us with that piece of it.
Tom,
So,
can
yep.
excuse me, but can I just interrupt? I didn't really even announce yet that, like, Christie did agree to accept the combined auditor treasurer position. So I thought maybe we should
Sorry,
start,
yeah.
no, that's fine, I thought maybe we should start with that she did graciously, decide to accept the position. And I know it's going to be a big role, but I totally have confidence that she will handle it well.
Thank you.
So,
Absolutely, my apologies, thank you for
Sorry.
interrupting, but yes, it is gonna be a lot, but I also have extreme confidence, if we get a good team in place, you know, that's gonna be the key to make this a success. I do have an ad that we prepared and put out just, yesterday for the deputy treasurer position, so that's what it would be, is we have another deputy treasurer 2. We have a deputy auditor 1 and 2 right now in the auditor's office, and we would have a deputy treasurer 1 and 2 as well. That's how that's how we determine to, you know, the structure of the offices, okay? We did some research to determine whether or not and how much can be, you know, to create a deputy auditor / treasurer. But there still does, in order to maintain some what's the word I'm looking for, Christy? The separation of duties is important still for certain aspects of the jobs, you know, so a lot of counties are already doing this. In fact, I think last time I reported there was 17. It's up now to, what did I say, 20? So other counties are jumping on board with this same combined structure. So Kelly wrote the resolution for us. I think you've all received a copy of that.
And I have no pride of authorship on the resolution. So if there is something that somebody sees that they want, worded differently, or added or taken out or anything like that, feel free to let me know and I can always change that resolution. Again, I think that, I know that there has been a lot of discussion about this in the past, combining these offices because of the similar duties and a lot of the same, and it seems to work in other counties and that sort of thing too. So, I don't know how much discussion you want to have on, but it does seem like it will be, an efficient way of moving forward in that office.
Did everybody get a chance to read the resolution? I'll call for a motion to accept the resolution.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
We have to do this twice.
discussion?
Just one more second.
It's okay.
Just once.
We do not have, we just have to do this once because, and it says right in there, because those offices are appointed offices. Century Code, well, the Home Rule Charter allows for us to follow Century Code, the 11-10.205. And that allows us to combine appointed offices just by resolution.
Okay.
So there, if it had been going from elected to appointed, that would be a different, situation and, require more, a preliminary resolution and final resolution, and I think a public meeting and those sorts of things, but, because they already are appointed, it's not required under North Dakota Century Code.
And those last 2 whereases are really good describing, you know, what the resolution is for the public to understand that. So, Christine?
I guess I just have a comment that I do think it is the way of the future. I think we're going in the right direction here by combining. I know timing, like we said, isn't great, but when is it ever a good time? And I just think the efficiency level, that's what I'm really looking at. I think it's going to be much more efficient. You know, like we stressed to Christie, you're not the one in there. You're not the one in there doing the checks and receiving and doing all that. You are a manager and you're overseeing, and we're gonna get a good team placed underneath her that she will oversee, because it's too much for one person to be doing it all. So I think I guess I feel strongly that it is the right move.
And I just want to clarify, we have the beginnings of a very good team already, right?
Yes.
So, we have, you know, people in place already. It's gonna be that vacant position. We just need to find somebody who, you know, is hopefully gonna bring a strong skill set to the table and be able to, fill in the gap. So.
Any more questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the roll. Christie?
Yeah.
Ernie?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Oh, Kelly, I had one more question.
Okay, sure.
So, I plan on bringing this up till we do something about it, because I've been asked about it, planning and zoning about the,
Right. Yes, and so my understanding is somebody needs to get a meeting scheduled. And then, because I have questions as far as what changes need to be made and those sorts of things, so.
so we're not waiting for you to decide anything, we're waiting to schedule a meeting.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm recommending a meeting by next commission meeting, because we've been dragging our feet about this, so I sure hope we can get a meeting together and resolve it. Because, I don't think it's gonna get any better with the case we're talking about. Yes, sir.
You're gonna wanna be there at the meeting, aren't you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that was my plan, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I need direction as far as what changes everybody wants to make and that sort of thing, so.
Get you two to look at your calendar and get a hold of Luther on. I think the rest of us can go just about any time, so.
Yeah, I haven't been wanting to bother Christie on it because I know she has a lot on her plate, so.
I just sent out an email 2 weeks ago, and Matt does have about a week where he's out, but besides that, nobody else said anything, so I think it's, and we can visit.
We'll visit on that.
Yeah, what will work for you, and then I'll throw that out to the guys, cause, I think, yeah, cause it has to be in the paper, 2 weeks beforehand, the agenda. So we've got to take that into consideration,
Yeah.
so we'll talk.
And that's why I wanna, because, you know, yes, I know election is coming, June's coming, but things could get worse out there, and we'll be getting a phone call again, I'm sure. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly. Please, okay, good.
So you need to schedule the next commission, but not.
Okay, Sherry, you ready? Okay.
Good morning, Sherry. So I gave you actually the third quarter. I had already done that in November, but when I started doing the fourth quarter, I noticed there was a wrong amount on there, so that's why you got that again. So I just wanted to let you know. So the fourth quarter comparison,
Can we go back? Can you tell us what the wrong amount was?
I did it so long ago, I honestly don't remember what it was, but you have the other sheet, so you should be able to see it. I don't honestly remember anymore. Sorry.
Could we get that, Sherry? You must have that in your,
I thought I saved a copy, but I couldn't find it, but
when would we have gotten that?
November.
Okay, November. And that's for the fourth quarter of 23.
That's what I'm gonna start with. That was third quarter in November when I gave that to you. Okay? So do you have it, or do you need me to wait a minute?
To find it.
Yep, I can wait.
Probably at the November 21st meeting, or? is that
I believe so.
21st?
No, the 21st of November. Mhm.
Mm, I didn't see it in either November meeting, do you, Karen?
I'm just going there now. No, here.
Do you remember if it was a major change or?
I don't remember anymore. All I know is when I started working on my fourth quarter, I noticed it. And it's been a while since I've done this, so I don't honestly remember.
Okay, we don't have it, unless it was in an email and never got put in here. But
Yeah, I don't have it either.
I don't know that I have, I'd have to really look through, because I don't have it in a folder.
I looked in the minutes and it was not acknowledged in either minutes in November. So I can look back and see, if maybe it was in December.
Hold on.
Well, what would you like me to do? I can go over it, but I know that I did already.
December 5th. Presented the third quarter financial.
There you go.
Perfect.
The financial PDF. Yeah, no, that's not it.
When you guys find it, let me know.
Commission report, there it is. Okay, except now I can't see both at the same time.
Compare screens.
You find the discrepancy there.
Oh, Watkins is here small.
Now, let's see if we can,
Need my binoculars.
I'll go
Okay, third quarter comparison. Third quarter comparison. Where's Robert?
Yeah, maybe we can put up, oh, so you guys got the two, because yeah, I can do two.
This was back in December then?
Yeah, December 5th agenda packet.
Comparison.
Do you want to try to make,
Third
Well,
quarter.
copies?
There, look at that, 2.3 to 1.3.
Is that what we're looking at? Is
Yeah.
the increase?
Third quarter comparison, oh wait, that's
That's
fourth,
fourth
no,
quarter.
you're in fourth, we gotta get back to third here.
Okay.
Okay, third quarter, okay, so you guys have third quarter comparison right here, 2 million, and we're down to 596,000.
What are we talking? I'm sorry, what?
So when we look at the third quarter comparison by year,
The ending balance
Want me to print it?
was, in 23 was a different, whoops.
Yeah, if you could
Let me get the
Here's the
original.
fifty. Well, 2 million some increase, and over here we've got only about 600,000. 2.3, so that's almost 1.8 million difference.
I don't know that we're looking at the same thing.
yeah,
tell
okay.
us what we need to look.
Third quarter comparison by year, ending balance. 2.6,
2.3.
2.3 million. Here's third quarter comparison by year, the one you gave us today. 596,000.
Right there.
That's not.
I think so. Let me look.
You guys want copies?
It'd probably be better.
I mean, be better than trying to.
Yeah, we have time. Just that one.
Receipts.
96?
See, because these numbers are the same. The receipts in the distributor, these numbers are the same, but it's the copies that are different. So where's the difference?
96. Okay, I'm gonna. We'll take a few minute break to go. Okay. Call the meeting back to order.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
So fourth quarter comparison, we started out the fourth quarter with 582,205.37. We had total receipts of $4,808,902.27. We had disbursements of $3,977,902.29, with an ending balance of $16,413,205.35, which was an increase of $354,577.22 over 2022. As far as receipts go, our non-tax receipts for the fourth quarter, $2,334,372.72. Our tax receipts for the same time period were $2,474,529.55. So our total receipts for the fourth quarter, $4,808,902.27. Disbursements for 2023 were $3,977,902.29. So the comparison by the 2 years, receipts were up by $840,020.03 over 2022, and disbursements were up $82,396.23. And so to point out a few things that you would notice, the earnings, you noticed December of 2023 was up substantially over 2022. And that was due to the legacy earnings coming in, $718,647.72. And we had some 2023 flood money coming in, $166,475.82. So that gave us like $885,000 more than the year before. So that's why that looks bigger. And let's see, I had another note I thought. The expenses, if you notice in August of 2023, the August disbursement was substantially higher, and it was due to Mayo Construction. There was a job we paid out on August 8th of 2023 to Mayo Construction, $3,153,000. So that was a huge expense in August.
That 19?
Nine.
Nine, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any more questions for Gary?
Then I have the second half comparison when you're ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So comparing the second half of 2023 to 2022, the receipts were up by $353,012.93 over 2022. And the disbursements were up $4,180,225.85. But we ended up the year higher than the year before at that same time period. $1,354,577.22. I guess as far as one thing I'd like to just note, I mean, I feel really good about the revenue side of everything and the warrant side of everything. I know we still have some payroll discrepancies that haven't been fully worked through. So I feel that our expenses are overstated and we will, once we get all our problems worked out, we should be lowering our expenses, so that should bring our revenue up.
Does anybody have any questions for Sherry?
Well, I do think it should be stated on that 2023 correction that she brought to us. I think that we need to have that clarified in the minutes, what the
Sure.
correction was.
Yes, and I apologize for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, mistakes happen, but, you know, we just have to address them.
Yes.
And
So it's in the minutes.
and it's in the minutes so that it is corrected and we did
Yes.
get to the bottom of the error.
Yes.
And what was it? I'm sorry.
Well, you can explain it, the correct
the-
balance.
The mistake was that the beginning balance was left in that third quarter column, when the ending balance of the second quarter should have been brought to the third quarter. That was a mistake that was made.
Okay. Okay, do I have a motion to accept Sherry's report?
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Is
I'll second it.
that your?
Any more questions? Here, none, I'll call for the roll. Danny?
Yes.
Amy? Yes. Ernie?
Yes.
Christie?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Sherry. Thanks,
Thank
Sherry.
you.
Okay, Jason?
Good morning. Good morning.
The first thing I have on the agenda, that was in your packets, are a couple of drainage permits. It's just for a couple of our farmers to go out and clean the ditch from all the erosion that's happened. I've, a few people that are out there that will be getting letters because they've gone into the ditch to do it without it. So, we'll have that aspect of it, but, for their sake, being there, coming out and getting it, I didn't ask them to give us one for each site, I just had them group it all, and as long as they're not doing any excavations. So they're taking it back for grass, if we see grass, then we'll have a different issue, where it's an excavation parts. So with that, I have two for you, one is from Nick Digital Farms, it's for sections along number 9, over by Nash. I don't know if you want to do them separately or together. The other one is from Brad Suda for Cyril Suda Farms, and that's lands on number 6, number 2, number 7, and number 9. For the widespread, so just to have them clean back out that drifter, put it back into the where they can get some of that stuff filled back. Water board has already approved these, so it's just up for our authorizations from the commissioners, and I'll sign it and give them, let them know they can do it.
Yep, if you're fine with that, we could do both of them at the same
Yeah.
time. Do I
I'll make a motion, we approve both of them.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Call for the roll. Christie?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy? Yes. Myself, yes, motion carried for the drainage permits.
Karen.
Yes.
I mentioned it to Jason, we got a couple of these guys that also, and I know he'll be getting hold of them, that went in the ditches and didn't have a permit, but they're also the same ones that are working our ditches up. And I told Jason, I said, you make sure you let them know that they're not gonna go in our ditches anymore until they plant their grass to where it should be, because we've done that before. And I said, you know, we finally got everybody finally getting close to it, now we got a couple that aren't. And I always get, well, how come he can and I can't? Well, at least if he tells them stuff, then we're following the same for everybody. But to me, you know what, if you wanna go in the ditch and do what you want, fine, but then do what we ask.
Yeah.
You have basically planting the grass and keeping out of the ditch.
Madam Chairman, I think along the same line, I was just informed of, John was telling me about how they had to put up a dike around one of the farmsteads with water issues, and this was a long time ago, but he remembers Dennis Marcuson being out there, and they put the money in to make this dike, and Dennis was out there, and he said, you gotta go 4 inches lower. I get that it's gonna settle like the top, but he was out there telling them, so I think with all of those things, it's just the consistency piece, whether it's dikes, whatever it is, that's the place that we have authority to be able to get it right from the beginning, instead of waiting for issues to happen, and now we're trying to, so I think anytime someone's doing those things, we need you there to be letting them know, nope, you gotta go down. It's not just do it and then we figure it out. But is it true that people can refuse to have ditches or dikes evaluated?
There's interpretations on that, so I'm not a lawyer.
It's crazy to me, but
So, but yeah, we only have control inside the right of way for what we have. Everything else after that is out of our hands, so.
Along with that, if you go from Mid, I don't know if you've gone there, if you look on 81 now, they colorated the ditch, now the state put up signs.
Yeah.
I was wondering what the signs were last, and I looked and I finally went to the corner by the Shell Belt, and it says right away.
Yeah, apparently they were out there with cultivators,
Yep.
so we hear a lot of that back afterwards. Everybody knows they need to have a permit beforehand. Most of them just decide that they'll just go and do it and then hope that they don't get caught. Or to the fact that, it's always been like this, we don't have to worry about it. Everyone knows there's permits that they have to do for doing any work inside the right of ways of the county roads, township roads as well. Now, to get them to actually do it is another thing. So I could have like 3 weeks of just writing right away letters to people from back issues.
Christie?
So Jason, I just want to make sure, I don't know everyone that is in our easement area. So when you're bringing these permit requests to us, you will let us know if someone has an issue?
Yes,
Okay, before, so that we don't inadvertently approve the permit and not realize it. You'll let us know?
yes.
Okay.
I'll get you a list of the ones that are getting written up for without being in compliance, because as Ernie and I have spoken, until they fix what they've done and brought it right, they shouldn't get any other permits for anything else they've done. If you're not gonna follow the rules for what you have to do and go through the steps, you're not gonna get a permit for anything else until you fix the other components. So, and it's just something that we're gonna have to moving forward. Like I said, I can, just for right away infractions, I can a couple of weeks just writing letters. So we're working on getting the signs, the ground's getting to the point now where we can get out there and put those in. I just gotta get somebody to do the right of way signs, make sure we're placed properly. I just have to get somebody to go out with Dean for that part, because it is a 2 to 3 person job, getting those parts installed. But there are a lot of right of way signs that will be going up in the near future, so.
Okay.
By the end of the summer for sure. Some people might not be happy with where they are, but they might want to put it before they plant.
Christie?
Well, I'd just like to mention that I think I've seen, yes, there's some that don't comply, but I've seen a lot of compliance. But I think on the other hand, we have probably the next generation of farmers that are coming in and they're just farming where the line's always been and they don't even realize there's a problem. So I think we have to be careful how we handle this. Yes, do we have some people that are blatantly ignoring it? Yes, but I think we have all levels
Yeah.
here, so.
We,
Communication.
yeah,
Mhm.
They all like straight lines except right on the right of way.
Yeah.
I don't get this.
well, and to be fair, some of those where you have that, where it goes like this, there's our right of way, and then there's the easement where the power lines are. So they're outside of the actual right of way, so they're just trying to get back to the right of way where you see them going around.
Well, you know-
So everything is different on that. So.
When you talk about these permits and all that, I get many calls. And cause neighbors telling me that he did this and he did that, and I always say, so I called that guy that did it, and I said, hey, go in and get a permit. We're not gonna do nothing, you did the work, I said, so later when it comes at you, you got proof you got a permit. I said, that's all we want, I said, I'm covering your butt, cause somebody else complained. And I said, it happens all the time, but I said, you gotta know out there that your neighbor or somebody else, they're gonna complain on you, but at least if you get that permit, you're covered. And they're pretty good about it, really.
But to answer Amy's question, isn't there a flow limit on these dikes? If they're diverting so much wood?
Yeah, it's usually, was it 50 acre-feet?
50 acre-feet, you need permits, and
Right.
it has to go through the water board.
That goes back to the Forest River deal there,
Mhm.
when the flooding in that is, yeah, and the water board. And that's the trouble, when the water board gets complaints from somebody else, then the water board gotta do a study and it's costing them a lot of money and everything else, so, yeah, it's just a bad effect, I'll say.
Yeah.
Costs everybody money to do something.
Yeah, the water board and I are working with each other, so if we see anybody doing those things, it's a lot of that conversation is going back and forth on those type of things. And my staff have been informed if they see a dike being built to let me know immediately.
Madam Chair, that was my question, is it kind of, you just have to watch when they do it, or is it their responsibility when they get a permit to keep you posted so that you can be there to determine, or around that same time, so you know?
When they get
Catch
a
it.
permit, we go back out and inspect it.
There's lots of neighbors watching.
Yeah.
That's what they're our best police.
If they're not getting a permit, we don't.
So they may get a permit when it's done type thing already, or no, it's,
Some people try. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we want them to get it before, but they.
Okay, let's move on to flex fund projects.
It's, Flex funds is some good news. In total, we received $1,671,700. That money is spread out for 3 bridges. Not all 4 complete designs and things. So for the one on number 9 and drain 48, that's a cash flow. We've already purchased the box culverts for, just so we can get a jump on that to get that done this year. We received $307,100 towards that project. For a bridge that is 1 mile west of the Nash and 2 miles north, we received $1,204,600. And that's for preliminary engineering, construction, and construction engineering. And then the final one we got was for Golden Township, and we received $160,000 towards the preliminary engineering of that. And that will be last September, on the same day, as September 7th, we had to close 2 bridges right next to each other. I asked Golden Township which one they wanted back. This is the one that they chose, and it's 1 mile west of the Bilocan, west of 32. So we can give some flow for people and not have to have everybody on 32. So right now, we only have the preliminary engineering for it, but that gives us a good step. If we get some more funding and things, we'll have the preliminary engineering done. So hopefully we'll have something that's ready to go. So if there's another funding opportunity that comes out, we can go after it. Or at least we'll know what it's gonna cost.
What was the county 9, that drain 48?
$307,100.
307 or 70?
307.
Jason, just refresh our minds about where the Glenwood Farmington Bridge is, not the directions, just.
Yeah.
Who's it by?
No, that was my.
Glenwood.
Swanson's, it's right on the Farmington.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So that bridge last year, we had to close. It went to 0 tons. We went back and we fixed it to do what we get it back to open. It's still only at 8 ton right now. If we have a problem with number 6, where that bridge goes down, we have no other.
Yeah.
It just creates too much of a confinement and things. So that's the reasoning why that one got put on our list. Then we moved up, instead they closed, we did enough to open it. But it's not enough for our farmers to get anything.
Are we exactly replacing it or updating
This
it
would
or
be for a replacement.
replacement? Okay.
Placement of a bridge, no, but we're not gonna do box.
If we can do a box culvert, it would be, we'll have to do the design, the study and everything for it, but that'll be what we're up to next.
Because that's a fairly deep
Yeah,
Yeah,
down.
I'm afraid that might have to be a bridge with that amount of water coming in.
yeah, it's a possibility. So, but some of these boxes are pretty big. But
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what we can do. We're hoping, but
When we're talking of all this funding and stuff. Can do this maybe next meeting or something if you get time, Jason, just sort of bring us up to date, like how much we got in our farmers and this. All this funding, it comes so fast, I don't know what you got left in your farmers or your road to market or. You know, just so we know sort of what money we got left to, if we want some projects to move forward or.
Yep. I can do that.
We should be getting-
I can't even keep, huh?
We should be getting that update pretty soon, should we, on the All the funds?
Yeah, that prairie dog, they thought might be, was it?
Prairie dog, hopefully in December, is the earliest one that I've heard from predictions is anywhere from December to February.
But like, we got road and bridge and then we got our mills and all that, I says, it's hard to, what do we got left here?
Yep,
And I know you got projects there, but it'd
Yeah.
be at least a nice update, so it'd give us a ballpark figure.
I can work on that for them.
Yeah.
Cause I know there's the house bill and there's a prairie dog and there's also 1505, there's some
Yeah.
prairie dog and there's our regulars.
They'll call me and say a number and I say, what? Cause I got, I just, there's so much there.
Yeah.
And it's great, we got the money, but it's just nice to know what we got.
Right.
Yeah. It's not spoken for.
Any more questions on the flex funding for Jason? Anything more for Jason?
What's that?
Sure, we got that much up of that.
Yeah, I was I was hoping for one project, I wasn't, I was
Yeah.
really surprised we got some fundings for more than one.
He was actually giddy the day he called me with that.
There was a lot of places that,
Listening.
only got one or whatever, depending on what they applied for, but we were.
There were 400 projects submitted, so the fact that we got 3 just shows how much the state and ones that we need.
We've got troubles.
Some troubles, so.
Happy we got the bridges, disappointed we didn't get anything for 12 months.
I knew she was gonna stick that in there.
Well, you give me the opportunity, I'm gonna bring it up.
Will this free up money to do some other stuff then?
Till the next big rain.
Yeah.
This frees up money that we won't
Like the
have
one-
allocated. These are projects that all it really does is for money that frees up anything for is for number 9. That $300,000.
How about the Aspen Bridge, is that? No, nothing,
We're still in,
okay,
so.
Aspen Bridge, which one's that?
Aspen Bridge, Easton
That one that
North.
washed out, yeah.
Yeah.
That money is still in for allocations. The project is there, but the
Yep.
DOT hasn't had
Yep.
the funding, and so is the bid. We're still waiting for that. And in those 3 contracts, there are 7 bridges we're waiting for. That are removed, 3 are removals, couple replacements with box culverts. But there's 7 projects there that are always
That was because of federal funding.
Yes.
federal money funding not coming to, so DOT had spent everything that they had in the fundings, and with the prices of things going up. They couldn't allocate anything else, so they could finish the projects they have. So we're on a holding pattern until, from what we've been told, is until DT sends the funding for us to get instead of being continuing resolutions, can get a funding source down to them, so they can get it taken care of. Almost hearing rumblings that with everything that's going overseas, that there's money that's not gonna be coming into that, so.
Imagine that. Okay, any more questions for Jason? Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
You had like 10 bullet points and you accomplished them in like 2.
I think they're
It's
just.
supposed to be 2. It's all right.
Yeah,
It makes me think that I really have that.
yeah.
Hopefully we can get some rain to get out there and do some more blading.
The blades are, all the blades, well, actually, one of the blades are out right now, the other 2 are in the shop with painting from snow to
Yeah,
gravel.
so things.
So on the new RDO blades, I'm putting on the factories that we have. So when we get the moistures for them, they're going out, we'll be able to pack some of that gravel in place, and not to use as much, we won't lose as much either. So it's something we'll be trying, so RDO is in the area to be working on that stuff today. So,
I'm interested to see how it'll work.
Yeah.
yeah, they're supposed to save us over $300 a mile a year, so if that's the case, it'll be well worth the investment, so. We'll see how, we'll get a good draft, I'll forget what C2 is, 1.5.
We have when do we usually have our meeting with Tommy? Is it May? usually?
Yeah, I was thinking we try and get something set.
Yeah, maybe we should
Think
think
we
about
should,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
What day we want that.
would the first commission meet in May work?
I think the sooner the better, yeah.
That's 7, that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the second. So
Yeah. Are we gonna meet out there after our meeting?
I would,
That's what we usually do.
I think we should meet out there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, out there,
It's 11 for now.
okay, I'll
May 7th?
try to make that
Tentatively?
and see if we
Yeah.
can get the other members to be here. So, that one for that. In regards to Hami, I'll let you know this too, but I've spoken with Hami and spoken with staff, other staff. My intentions are Monday afternoons to be out there to pick up paperwork, funding, different things, go through the park, starting next week. So I'll be able to do Monday afternoons and use Monday afternoons for driving around, checking other projects and different things and things that I need to be out on doing those. Then I'll be back in the office for the rest of it. That way I have recaps for things before commission meetings and other stuff in that aspect.
Sounds good.
Anything on the openings, summer help in the relief guy?
I have 4 staff coming for the asphalt crew. We still have had no applications to work with the bridge crew, share the drafting. And we have 1 coming back to help out Mickey for part-time in the summer. So Elizabeth is coming back to work with her for the summer, so that's how. Other than that, we have no applications for the part-time position here at the courthouse. And we do have a couple that I'm doing some preliminary background checks on, so we can get interviews, so I'm hoping we can more, after I get that stuff, I can work out a schedule, we get the 3 applicants we have for more here.
Okay.
And just a question on the summer bridge help, when you hire people for summer temporary, is the HR side of things, like they've been with you for so many years, so you take that into account as far as pay, or is it, this is what our summer pay is and that's it?
It starts out at $15.
And then-
Come back a second year, they get a 50-cent increase.
Okay,
And if they come back for another year, they get another 50-cent increase is the standard, unless they bring somebody with them.
okay,
So we did have that this year where someone's coming back for their 3rd year, they actually brought somebody with them, so. And being with the experience they have,
great.
they can basically run the crew, I think, if we really need them to, so she got a little bit more. So we want them coming back. Also, when we send out applications, if they get a Class B license, we tell them it's worth an extra $1. And if they come with a CDL permit, it's worth $2 extra. And then at the end of the year, we can get them to a CDL test.
Cause I think you acknowledged, I had someone tell me that they could make $24 an hour, you know, if they get that CDL or whatever somewhere else. So it's just kind of the mindset of taking every situation individually. And I feel like if there are valuable people that can prove that so that we hang on to them, I myself would be definitely more looking at that if, you know, just so you maintain quality staff for the summer too.
That's where I would like to, but the problem is when you start getting to that $18, $20 an hour, I have full-time staff here at that.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
I have a really hard time. If they have everything and they can run the equipment, they can do everything, it's one thing. But to bring somebody in at $20 an hour, when I have staff at $23 an hour or less,
I get it.
yeah, they're not getting the benefits, but there's that aspect of it that you get somebody here that's only for a couple of months making as much money as I am. So we're in that pinch.
Yeah, as long as you get people, I think we're okay, but that is something that's to be said. If it's temporary help, you may get higher pay because you're not benefited. Well, you know, as long as you're getting quality people and they're coming back, it's not an issue, but otherwise.
Yeah,
Being
so
creative.
we're getting less applicants every year.
Yeah.
So basically, last year, everyone that applied got a job. This year, everybody has applied and that interview and got a job. So.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Lisa. Okay, we will go to, unfinished business, the Walsh County Historic Preservation Commission reappointment.
I make a motion to approve the commission reappointments as stated for year terms.
I've got to get to that spot. Yeah. Okay, so we have Agatha oh boy. Agatha Frisbee, Shannon Brazil, Tracy Lovick, and Sarah Johnston. Are they, any more discussion on the reappointment to the Historic Commission? Preservation. Hearing none, I'll take the roll. Christie.
Yeah.
Ernie.
Yes.
Amy.
Yes.
Danny.
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carried. Okay, then we have the election inspector appointment, and I'll let Christie just explain that a little bit.
Absolutely. Okay, so, for election, we have to have,
two judges, we have to have poll workers, but we also have to have an inspector. And with that, Century Code states that you guys have to appoint the inspector. That person is just overseeing it all, making sure everything's handled correctly. And in years past, it was always the deputy two that held that position. So I am bringing to you guys, for approval to, call Whitney Weisenberger as the inspector for the election for 2024.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
And with that, I also was hoping to get a motion, in there. So that from time to time, there's gonna be people that can't work or something comes up at the last minute. Instead of bringing it back to the commission, I was hoping, this Secretary of State recommended that we put in there that the county auditor is able to fill any vacancies that may exist for the 2024 primary and general elections on an emergency basis if somebody were to call in. So I'd like that covered.
Can we just add that to that?
Yep, it's in there. Yep, it's right in here. Yep, it's in there. That's the resolution. Yep.
Oh, that is the
That's part of
resolution.
it, yeah.
Okay, for the election inspector appointment.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so we have a second, a motion and a second. Any more discussion on the election appointment?
So you don't need a separate motion for that emergency, that's part of this.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. This came right from the state, so it was a template from them, so we're confident with it.
How many people does it take?
You know, I don't know for sure how many, workers, Kelsey's working on trying to get, poll workers now. Some of them are coming back, some of them aren't, so, we might have to get creative and, maybe do some campaigning.
Well, and those people who are coming back might know of somebody who wants to start.
Yeah.
Somebody who's retired teacher,
Yeah, exactly.
whatever, they can be anywhere.
Some of them probably aren't back from Arizona yet.
Yeah, maybe. Well, the Secretary of State, they're really pushing to get, high school kids to help, to try to get them involved more in elections and stuff. And it's in June, so, we might reach out and try to, because, you know, they're tech savvy as well, and with
Yeah.
all of the iPads and the poll pads and that it would be good. We also will have, ESNS here for June. I don't know if I mentioned that. So the state, is paying for 11 counties to have representation for ESNS, which is the software, company. And Walsh County is one of them. So I was really for June. So they'll be here the day before, the day of, and the day after, to assist with, any equipment issues or just, I know, peace of mind. Yes, exactly. And I believe it was like $5,000 or $7,000 because the other counties could request them. But just off my memory, I think it was like $5,000 to $7,000 to have them on site. So I was really excited to hear that. I was worried, and when I got the email, I was very relieved. So that'll be great. The Secretary of State, one of the gentlemen that works extremely closely with the election, he's been fantastic to work with. Good. He, quit, so he, is going somewhere else. So I'm not sure it's gonna be a little bumpy in the election, even at the state level, so, but they'll get it, you know, but that was something.
Well, I think with the people that are coming back, you can be reassured that they'll do a good job
Yes.
because they've been doing it and,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah, it sounds like they enjoy it.
Yep.
For one, especially. So,
Yep.
we're trying to get, training scheduled. We're sending out letters to, both parties for the judges. So they have until a certain date to give us a judge for their party, and if not, then we are able to appoint ourselves. So that is another thing. We got our ballots. I didn't realize ballots had to be approved on Friday. So Tuesday was the cutoff. And so I was waiting for the cities to get the candidates for the city election or contest. And so Friday we had to have it approved. So they are at ESNS right now getting approved. I sent to all of the cities their preliminary ballot just for confirmation, and we did find a few things that needed that were overlooked.
Good.
So, yeah, that was great. But yeah, it's moving along. I'm looking forward to it, but
Okay, let's make let's ask for the vote here. I'm sorry. Okay, no, that's okay. This was all pertaining to it, but we can maybe talk about that after before I forget to do this. So I'll take the roll call. Denny,
Yes.
and we're voting on, this election and stuff. I forgot. Amy,
Yes.
Christie,
Yeah.
Ernie,
Yes.
myself, motion carried. Okay, any more questions about election?
Madam Chairman, I would just be curious what if the state has, when they talk about high school kids, if there are certain like classes or things that they have found, because between Mike Hansen and the school and other schools, there may be certain, if it's government or if there's tech programs, it would be kind of interesting, because Ernie's talked about getting students more interested. Well, if it's an elective, that would be even better. They're already choosing, or if they're going off to conference, we had to do, when you're looking at the rules and going back to, those might be really good students to, right?
I know
Maybe not this election, but I'm just saying,
you bring that up, I talked to Mike and he's still talking to Shuley there, they've been pretty busy, so I don't know if we'll get something started now or summer next year, but it's still in the works.
Maybe even, kids that have attended girls or boys state,
right,
Yep.
you know?
just
They
the
got that
Robertson
ambition.
or if they have
Yeah.
any exposure, girls state.
Yeah, we probably have to have another training for a different training. You're gonna have the training soon.
no, so typically the training was close to the
Oh, it
election.
is. Oh,
Yeah, it is because of just so that for
I
retention.
don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that will be, done at end of May, I would assume. So, yeah, so starting to make progress with that, so.
Okay, good. Okay, is there any more unfinished business or other business?
Did anybody get any email from the, Wash County Historical? They got a meeting Thursday night?
Their
Just
annual
me.
meeting, yeah.
Yeah, did you guys get anything on it?
Yeah, I get something in the mail.
I got it, but I can't find it.
Oh, I always get I get the letter in the mail and then
I don't know if I'll forward it, but it is. I know it's Thursday.
I'm going, so. But, Amy, do you wanna go? No, I'm just kidding.
One more meeting.
Okay, if there's no other business,